I see your horse. Can you see your horse? Can you see your horse? Oh, come on, Sassy. Here we go! Here we go! That's how he waits horse. Izzy was on the spot. All right. Are you excited? Are you excited? Are you excited? 1, 2, 3. Wow! Boom.
Walk on.
Here we go.
There's so much about the animal-human bond that we don't know.
People with PTSD, people with anxiety, depression, other mental health conditions can all benefit from being with the horse. Even if they're not riding the horse, just being around the horse can help them.
The bond with the horses is amazing. I do think it's magic.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. We got it! Yay! All right. Nice.
My son, Braden Province, was born 6 weeks early, and so he had a seizure within days of being born. From the time he was 6 months old until the time he was 9 months old, he had somewhere between 150 to 300 seizures a day. He had gotten to a place at 4 where he was not able to move his limbs very much. He couldn't hold up his head, and he couldn't communicate at all. We started looking for ways to keep his muscles healthy and from experiencing muscle loss. When we get here, he generally has some pretty tight muscles, some discomfort, pain. He's had a couple of hip surgeries.
Equine-assisted services are, probably in the whole scheme of things, a relatively new idea. Since about the 50s, people, usually therapists, have been talking about how the movement of the horse seems beneficial to people who ride them. And that was sort of where the idea got started.
For so many reasons, we choose the horse. And when you're talking about individuals with physical disabilities, when you put them on the horse walks and the horse's pelvis moves very similar to a human. And so sometimes that can help just stimulate the right neurons and muscle and tendon and stretch and flexibility and mobility that individual needs. In addition, horses are motivating. And youth come to our center, and instead of going to maybe a traditional clinic or a hospital for care where they know it's a medical treatment, it's a doctor's appointment, it's completely different.
A lot of our clients are sensory challenged, and to see me staying the same, you know, I think that helps, that the people are the same and the place is the same, so even if there's a bunch of stuff going on, they kind of gravitate towards that sameness.
What we have found is that very specific types of sensory input can help youth maintain a calm, alert state that's optimal for engaging in social interactions, and that's optimal for learning new skills. In a traditional clinic environment, oftentimes what therapists will do is have a participant on a swing or maybe on a therapy ball in order to get some movement. But when you're swinging or when you're on a therapy ball, that's what you're doing. It's hard to layer too many more activities on top of that. When you're in the equine environment, you can be riding a horse and getting all of that movement and input that can help you maintain that optimal state of arousal so you can participate. And so equine movement in particular can be very beneficial for helping to maintain that calm, alert state that is best for social engagement and social interaction. And also the therapist can layer in a lot of other therapeutic activities while you're riding. So we might be working on teaching social skills, or we might be working on a self-regulation strategy. And we can do all of those activities while you're riding the horse. I think it's both of those. It's the social motivation and engagement, and I really want to participate in this activity because it's fun and horses are here. And I'm regulated and calm and alert and ready to learn because my nervous system is in a place where I'm available and ready to learn.
2, 3, and whoa.
What letter is that?
H.
No, oh, yeah, there's the next. What about the blue one?
A.
A. Does airplane start with A?
Yeah.
Should we shoot the ball while we're here?
Yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Oh, so close. Jordan, would you mind fetching the ball, please?
Typically, by and large, we're just walking, working with the patient on the horse, using that movement to make the patient's body work harder, to improve either balance, coordination, strength, vestibular function, sensory integration, sensory adaptability. So you'll see, by and large, a very controlled activity going on where we're either going in straight lines or we're utilizing patterns in the arena. Sometimes you will see kids facing forwards, sometimes you'll see kids facing backwards, sometimes you'll see them side sitting on all fours, tall kneeling, arms out. I mean, you'll see it all.
So keep a pretty light hold, Izzy. I'm gonna let her body kind of shift if it's going to here. But Torrance, if you look from behind now, you'll see she's staying more midline. Yeah, she's staying more centered. And that's what I want to do first. I want to make sure her body is in the right spot, that it feels midline, that it feels centered. We're kind of recalibrating where her midline is using this horse as the treatment tool to do that. And then we can move on to some of the more strengthening stabilization stuff.
Temple Grandin, she is probably the one person that's put out there for such a long time to say, look, horses are beneficial. They helped me, they can help other people. She is such an advocate for everything that we do.
Many people know her because of her work with livestock welfare, as well as just being an advocate for the autism community.
Horses were a very important part of my life, especially when I was a teenager. Horses helped me learn how to work because I was a terrible student. And I went away to a boarding school for kids with problems, and they put me to work running the horse barn. So I not only had friends who were riding horses, I had 9 stalls I had to clean every day. I fed them, put them in and out, and that taught me how to work. But high school was absolutely the worst part of my life, and horses kind of totally saved me. Just being tortured in school with teasing. And fortunately, some of the other students that did riding, they didn't do teasing. So the horse activities were a refuge away from all the teasing. My first visit to the West was when I was 15, and that's how I got introduced to the cattle industry. When I first started some of my animal behavior work in my 20s, I started looking at what are cattle actually looking at? Why do they balk at a shadow? Why does a horse spook at something? I started looking at what an animal is seeing. Now, I didn't know at the time that other people didn't think in pictures. I think completely in pictures. All my thoughts are in pictures. I thought everybody thought that way. I didn't find out until I was in my late 30s that other people do not think in pictures quite the same way. And that was kind of a shock to learn that.
Temple's involvement with the construction of this facility was very key because she helped us pick out colors and think about the type of lighting or the noise from certain equipment that was going to be in the room. You know, someone that is on the spectrum herself, she's very conscious of what the environment needed to be. So she was very hands-on as we decided what did the construction of this facility need to look like.
She is somebody who will tell you straight out that this is so important to all of these kids. And I think that's part of the reason that we're here. If it wasn't for somebody like her out there saying, hey, this is really a good thing, you should do it, I'm not sure we'd be here.
The population we serve is very vast. It can be individuals from 18 months to 99 years old, and it can be seniors with dementia, Alzheimer's, youth with autism, cerebral palsy, developmental delay. Ultimately, if it is a therapy or an activity, we can do it, and then we just either do it assisted or facilitated with the horse or in the horse environment.
All right, Mr. Davis, you're in control of Miss Willow. You gotta tell her. There you go. Very nice. Nice job looking where you want to go, making sure we don't trample over those rings. Very good. Use that inside leg. Good. Okay, everybody, whoa. How are you feeling today about doing some 2-point and practicing our 2-point?
Give it a whirl.
Give it a whirl. Oh, wait, you gotta hold your reins, though.
Davis is one of the clients here. He participates in therapeutic riding, so he's been learning how to ride. He's been doing this for several years.
It's very similar to bending. It's using that inside leg and inside rein to push our horses out. Very good. And remember, when we say we're using our inside leg, we're putting pressure, right? We're using our calf or our heel to squeeze just a little bit on our horse's side. Just like we do when we ask them to walk on.
Everybody was so encouraging and kind, and so I said, well, Diaz, what do you think? And he goes, I could give it a try. So then he tried, and he loved it.
So when you're going around those cones, I want you to make sure you're using your right rein and your right leg. And remember, we gotta squeeze a little bit with our right leg to help them bend around those turns.
And his first horse, Spanky, he was beat up in the corral or whatever. So Davis was like, well, you know, we've got a lot of things in common. He's been bullied too. And so they were bonded from the get-go.
From what I understand, he was bullied somewhat by the other horses. In my high school days, I was bullied relentlessly.
All right, make sure you're still steering, Davis, even if you have a beanbag. There you go. Yep, using both reins. Nice job. Use those legs. Nice.
He would do fine without any people here. That would make him much happier if there were no people here and he could just hang out with the horses. The horses that he rides, he's ridden several through the years. The horse that he rides now is named Willow, and Willow's the reason he comes each week. Doesn't matter if I'm here, doesn't matter if anybody else is here, he comes for Willow. Willow can do no wrong in his mind. So, I mean, he's here for her.
There you go. Nice job correcting her, Davis. I know it's hard when we have something to hold in one hand. There you go, and whoa.
For him, I think when he gets on that horse, he just feels like a regular kid, you know, and now he's an adult. But this is his safe haven. He loves it.
Good. I love that your hands are staying up off the saddle. That looks great, Davis. And whoa. Nice job. Yep, try to get all the way out of your saddle. I know, it's hard to balance. I know. And sit back down. It's really hard to balance. The 2-point is a lot of things to think about. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take our feet out of the stirrups and just relax our feet.
It's surprisingly soothing to just have your back become one with the movement of the horse.
It's really hard to find the right fit of a horse. You have to worry about their temperament, and they have to be sound athletes too. I would say 1 in about maybe 5 to 10 horses that we try really works on our program. This can be really hard work on their body and on their mind.
First of all, you pick a horse with a good temperament, a horse that's sound, a horse that doesn't spook. And then you run that horse through a long series of tests, and they get put through the ringer.
It's a pretty stressful job for a horse, and people sometimes laugh at me when I say that because, well, the horse is mostly walking. How can that be stressful? But our clients, some of them do not sit properly on the horse. Their weight is off to the side of the horse, which can be hard on the horse's back. They may be making excessive movements with their body. To most horses, if you're squeezing your legs against the side, that means the horse should go faster. Well, we don't want our horses to go faster. We want them to stay slow. And so that can be very frustrating for the horse that they're getting two different signals, go fast, stay slow, and so that can add to their stress.
Horses come from all over. A lot of them are maybe older competitive horses because they've seen a lot in their days. They've been desensitized. They understand noises and objects moving. We actually take rescue horses in a transitional phase in their life. We partner them with a CSU student for a semester or two, and we assess them and we rehabilitate them. And we see, does this horse have the skill set that then, after we save and rehab them, can they come into a therapy program and be a helpful horse for us too?
They're with us for 6 weeks to 3 months, just being trained before they're ever put out there with a patient on their back.
The horses we use here, we want to make sure that their welfare is number one. Yes, we want to help our clients. We want this to be beneficial for them, but it's not going to work if the horses can't do their job.
So there's always processes in place whereby the horses can get a break, whereby they can have some alone time, some vacation time, some pasture time. I think that's very important. I also think some horses' brains are just really working, and so they need to be engaged on different levels. You can't just do one activity, you can't just do therapy sessions. I think it's good for those horses to also be working with independent study students and doing more able-bodied riding lessons, hunter-jumper stuff sometimes. It's individualized based on the horse, but we try to make sure that their mental capacity is top of mind with us because that's what keeps them engaged when we put a patient on their back. If they become a favorite horse, everybody wants to use them, and then that horse is getting worked a ton.
Here we go. I've got hips.
Willow is a pretty personable horse, if a horse can be personable. She's one that expresses herself. If there's something she likes, you'll know it. If there's something she doesn't like, you'll know it. She was a jumping horse for many years. She injured herself, so she wasn't able to jump anymore. So we took her because she had a pretty calm and quiet personality, and she's actually worked really well in our program. She's adapted pretty well. For some of our clients in therapeutic riding, where they're learning riding skills, she's excellent about teaching how they should use their leg, how they should use their reins, because she has all those skills. And so she can teach them how to do those things. And I think for a lot of our participants, the fact that it's a big horse makes them feel really cool that, you know, I get to ride this nice big horse and she moves really nicely. She has a very smooth movement. So I think that's why a lot of our clients really like her.
All right, go ahead and whoa right there, Mr. Davis. You didn't whoa there.
She's a nice horse. She does have a personality.
Can you show me a proper whoa? How do we whoa with our reins? Whoa, yes. Good.
Ornery. Definitely ornery.
At WF Young, there's a commitment to providing products to help our animals live longer and healthier lives. We work very closely together with one another to put forth the best quality products and brands and to earn the trust of our customers every single day.
I think people have been loyal to Absorbine and WF Young because of that 125 years of putting out the best that we can put out.
People have grown up with these products, they know they work, and they know that when they pick something up that says Absorbine on it, it's going to do right by their animal.
Here we go, babe. Oh, sorry, I'm done.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep, go ahead, keep going.
Okay, Kenny, let's keep moving.
There we go. You know from me. Okay. Up the leg again. Okay, Susie. Right here. There you go. Okay. And down a little bit more. Okay, ready?
When we're working on a horse, we're looking for a very symmetrical, rhythmic, synchronous movement, right? Because that's how you affect neurological change. Our bodies, when we walk through space, we're using all these systems. They're all working simultaneously. So we talk about how there's around 2,000 opportunities to affect change, 2,000 pieces of input into the body in one 40 to 45 minute session with us and the horse. And that means that every step that horse takes is another opportunity for what's happening in the body to be signaled to the brain and back to the body, and to start to affect long-term change. So that's what you get when you put a patient on a horse and utilize that equine movement as a treatment tool. You can get that symmetry, you can get that repetition, and it's all the systems working together. There should be clinical reasoning to which horse that patient is on, why that specific tack is on that horse, what activities you're performing, the patterns, which direction you're going. So we can focus and tailor everything we're doing out there toward the specific functional goal we're working on, and that's how it should be.
Part of the long-term goal of our programs of research is to demonstrate that integrating horses into therapies is effective as therapy in a traditional clinic environment, and likely more effective than therapy in a traditional clinical environment.
Good job. What do you see? Do the ham.
How did you do with all the promotion? Yeah.
Because Braden is wheelchair bound, because he doesn't use his muscles like we would like for him to, riding a horse is something that mimics human walking. A lot of the same muscles are engaged. We have seen him start to bear weight on his legs, started to be able to pedal the bike. We've seen the use and the protection of those muscles through therapy to start to look different in our daily life because he's able to use them still.
We don't understand why certain individuals, specifically youth, are drawn to the animal, and what does it do? Why do children say their first words horseback? Why do they sit up? Why can they pay attention and do a puzzle when traditionally they can't?
I think you can speak to it across the board, that animal-human connection is there, but I think there's something special about that horse-human bond. And I don't know if it's because we've been symbiotic for so long. There've been EEG studies done with patients where if you see them in a clinic with EEGs on, there are focal parts of their brain that are lit up, right? Little pieces of their brain that are lit up during these activities in a clinic. And then you put that same child on a horse, same EEG studies, and it's fireworks, right? The entire brain is exploding and lit up. They're just super engaged. So as a therapist, it gives me a wonderful opportunity to take that engagement, to take that entire brain being lit up, and then roll with it.
People who have worked in this industry can see firsthand that youth with autism oftentimes when they're around horses are calmer and more willing to engage and more regulated, and all of that really helps to then be able to best engage in the therapy. But a lot of what our research has done is tried to develop a theoretical rationale so that we understand what exactly the horse is contributing to the therapeutic process.
I like real results that are not abstract. You've got people out there doing therapeutic riding. Those people that are doing it, it does something real for them. We need to show people really want evidence-based that it works. Why does it work better than some other kind of therapy? If you talk to the people that just work out there in the arena with the horses, they'll tell you a lot of stuff. Scientists need to listen to them a lot more and not just go poo-poo, that's just anecdotal. Because there's a point where you'll start to see a pattern in some of the anecdotal. I've talked to a number of parents where they said that their kid did their first words on a horse. And I think there's some reasons for that. You know, relationship with the horse, also rhythm and balancing at the same time. Seems to have a really good effect on the nervous system.
A lot of that has not been documented scientifically. That's one area that we're sort of lagging in, is the scientific documentation of how the horse does that.
What I tend to do is take specific examples of something that works, something that does not work, and then, okay, now what are the common denominators, the common characteristics of the ones where it did work to make concepts. It's bottom-up thinking. It's important to do research in every field. You want to learn how to make advancements and make things work. No, we've got to be doing research. Absolutely, it's essential.
You know what, there might be a sign on those doors that says, no hay.
When the families come here, I think for them, this is it's a social place, a place where every family with young children take their kids to sports or to clubs or to music class. But children with disabilities don't often do all those things, but here they do. So there's that camaraderie that's developed between the families that come here.
Early, you know, when I had him, I was always judged, and it really hurt, you know, and you're just like, it's not me, but you felt like you had to explain it. The stigma on special ed kids and all that is huge, and people just stare at you and all that fun stuff. And so you come here, and just like Davis gets to feel like a regular person, so do we.
When you get to the barrel, you need to whoa and ask your sidewalker or volunteer to help you grab what beanbag you want.
I have dear friends, you know, that get Davis and love him, and it's good. But other people in public, they just judge you so much. And so here it's judgment-free zone.
You ready? Walk on, very good. I love that you used your voice.
What my son Braden receives here is the ability for him to come in and be someone who's not your typical child, and in a lot of settings he may feel not enough or not be the center of attention because not everybody knows how to interact with somebody with differences, and he comes in here and is loved on so fiercely. For him to have this place where he comes and thrives, and it's his space, and you know, everybody else gets to take the back seat for an hour. It's a really beautiful space for him. I'm very grateful.
For me, I'm really passionate about occupational therapy because I can see the difference that it makes in our clients' lives.
Down out loud to 20.
Being able to be a part of that youth's life in a way that hopefully impacts them for the rest of their lives as they develop skills that they'll use for the rest of their lives.
I see those changes, you know. I see the people who struggle to walk in the door, you know, with their wheelchair, their walker. Sometimes kids come from school, they've had a bad day, things aren't going well, but they come and they interact with the horse, they get on the horse, and they're all smiles. It really does make a difference to them, and that makes me feel good.
A lot of these kids who don't think words really relate to animals. A lot of kids were, oh, love them, just totally love them. Well, I think it's really wonderful. That makes me really happy.
Pretty happy to see you guys again, huh? So we're gonna walk Drifter just like the girls just did. And I want you to think about something that's hard or kind of weighs heavy on you. Do you know what that means?
Equine-assisted psychotherapy really is just taking therapy out of the office and putting it into an experiential setting. Have fun. Right now we are at the Temple Grandin Equine Center, smack dab in the middle of Denver, which has allowed us to access a whole bunch of kids that would never be able to experience this kind of therapy.
Joe, is that a concept that's beyond? Did you do anything?
Most of the kids that I work with have experienced trauma and abuse or neglect. A lot of these kids are coming from situations that we cannot even begin to imagine. It has been my experience that kids who are in need of mental health help are not really game to sit in an office and talk to a middle-aged lady about their feelings. And so if we can actually bring them out into an arena with the horses and let them really do the work that they can do, that's where equine-assisted psychotherapy is so much different and so much more effective than anything else we can do.
I've never seen something that's had such immediate impact on so many students. By working through horses, many of them are applying these lessons to the horses and then able to take those learnings outside of the arena.
Their trauma, abuse, and neglect has come at the hands of humans, and they have a pretty good armor around them. When we throw them into the arena with a bunch of horses, all of that armor goes away because they are truly in a place and an experience that they've never had before. So, how's your horse feel, do you think? You feel how antsy he is, right? How do you feel? Here you go. Here you go. Kick again. You're almost there. Go.
Imagine how empowering that is to be able to connect with a 1,200-pound horse who has the same movement that you do, who you can quiet with your own breathing, and you can be able to connect emotionally and physically with this animal. We've had so many kids that come in and they work with the horses and they're totally changed by the time they leave because they feel so empowered. Any therapy room with 4 walls is no match for what a horse can do.
Ask him with your feet a little bit. There you go. All the way to the wall, all the way to the gate. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Yay!
Kids come here and they don't cry when they come. They cry when they leave.
This program in general has helped me through a lot of tough things in my life. I feel safe and calm when I can actually talk to them. I'm me, and I'm free here.
Good job.